emotions, anger, and all of the negative emotions being demons. And telling a friend that they're going to have to deal with the demons. And that's what I mean. Anytime that we are afraid of doing something, fear is a demon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in the case that you're talking about, things are pretty new and you're just kind of starting that path with her. But it's the same battle for you and I.
Exactly.
You know, everybody has their demons. Nobody, I believe, nobody gets through this life without demons.
Well, a little backstory for those listening is Scott was with me yesterday and we were rear-ended in the car. And the anger, I kept feeling angry about the situation. Come the end of the day, nobody was hurt. You're not hurt. They're not hurt. Their vehicle's fine. My brand new tailgate is squished.
Yep.
But, it's just a freaking tailgate. So in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things,
It's nothing.
it's nothing. And thank God
That's all it was.
that's all it was, and nobody was injured.
Yeah.
But that damn demon keeps emerging into my mind, going, jerk shouldn't have hit me.
Yeah.
The cop should have cited him. And it's hard. We had the conversation about the yin and yang and the positive and negative, the light and the dark, and there's the dark spot within the light.
Yep.
So when I talk about it, that's exactly what I'm talking about. No matter how peaceful and serene I am with the situation, I've always got that negative little dark spot, which is the anger and frustration
Right. Right.
of the situation. And, it's to pull myself back into the light is to say, God's will be done. Nobody was hurt. Pray for everybody involved, and God's will be done.
And when I was younger, I reacted to things exactly like that. And I guess as I grew, as I got wiser, I don't have that anger that flares up anymore unless it is a extreme kind of, all right, we'll do this, unless it's a extreme situation, I guess. Because I still do feel anger. I don't want to say that I don't.
Well, I understand that, but let's bring that full circle for everyone. That's what's basically referred to as EQ, emotional intelligence.
Right.
And you're more emotionally mature than I am, because I am a INFJT. I am turbulent in nature, which is a direct sign of my lack of emotional maturity. And you're an INTJA, which is assertive, which is a direct link to your developed emotional maturity.
Okay. And seeing, going into that with the personality types and all, I don't have the knowledge there. I just trust that you're going to tell me.
I just lie to you half the time.
Well, there you go. I wouldn't know. But no, but even like in that situation yesterday, we actually had a really good example of exactly that, of the demons coming up. And not with us, but with him and his wife, and how he was calm,
Yes.
al-
Well,
albeit
he-
probably medicated.
He was almost in a coma.
Yeah. But his wife was crazy fired up at the beginning. And
To the point that I made the comment that basically she was assaulting me
Yes.
when I was online with 911.
Yep.
In Texas, where everybody and their brother and sister carries a gun, and somebody's telling you to get your ass out of the car, you just better keep your seat planted unless you're coming out armed.
Exactly. Exactly. And it was being on that topic, going briefly into their
Psyche.
psyche, knowing that he has a terminal cancer.
Yes.
There is no surviving for him. Although he is trying, he's doing the chemotherapy, he's trying to stay here. But we know, based on what they said, that ultimately that's a fight he's going to lose.
Yeah.
So, really, we can make the assumption, I guess, that he was so calm because that was really a small thing.
Right. In the grand scheme of thing in life, it don't matter.
But she is facing the potential, not the potential, she's facing the reality that she's going to lose her husband at some point.
Right. Which is why her energy and demons were just
Right there at the top.
banging on her skull.
Yeah. And
It had nothing to do with us or the accident or the incident.
No.
It's just it's this damn demons.
we've all got them.
All of us.
So it's just a question, to me, it's just a question of trying to figure out what they are and then trying to not let them control all of our life. We know they're going to flare up. That's just a reality.
Well, my anger and frustration is just like we discussed. Coming from a legally trained background in a professional driver's position, I was angry that he was not cited. He has no business being behind a wheel in the medical condition he's in.
Yep.
He obviously is on God only knows what, and the doctors have probably told him you're not driving. But being us egotistical males,
Yep.
I get the last time to go drive my detachable penis before I die.
Yep.
He told the wife, you're a passenger.
Yeah.
And but just based on the incident and everything else, my frustration and anger comes from the fact that the police officer didn't cite him, which is his job.
Yes.
But as we discussed, myself, nor you, nor the police officer would want to cite this guy. He's dying of terminal cancer.
Yeah.
Give the guy a frickin' break.
Exactly. Exactly.
Give the wife a frickin' break. She's losing her shit.
Basically, yeah.
And, she's probably thinking too, well, she's still mad today. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
She's still going.
Yeah.
She's still raging. And unfortunately, it won't be until probably after he's passed and he's no longer around that she's going to shake her head. And this is going to be one of those little tidbits that she just go,
Yeah, exactly. And where she is right now, she's stuck.
yeah.
And
It's that negative energy. It's that black cloud.
yeah, and I feel bad because that negative energy is impacting the time she has left
Exactly.
with him.
Exactly. Life is too short. Now I'm kind of going back to my own situation. Life's too short to allow that negative cloud to hang over, and life is what happens while we're sleeping.
Yeah.
And to be stuck in that negative energy and to be stuck in that rut, life is still happening. And there's so much joy and pleasure and so many positive things happening if we could just get grounded,
Yes.
get our chakras open,
Yep.
have that energy flowing, and just simply be present.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And well, one of the things that I've said many times, when Dee died, we were in some ways very fortunate in that the process of her going from a healthy 40-year-old or assumed healthy 40-year-old to taking her off life support was less than a week.
That's insane.
Yeah. And so we had that little bit of time to come to grips with what was happening as it was happening. But it wasn't a long enough thing like this couple yesterday, having it dragged out for years.
Right.
It was a very short window. And I'm thankful for that window because we were able to start to wrap our minds around what was happening before she actually died. And so we didn't have that long-term thing. We didn't have she was driving down the road, got hit, and died in the accident, so we had no time to prepare. So given those other options, Christy and I have talked many times about being thankful that we had that week. And there were a ton of lessons that I had to learn. Even then, I mean, I was not.
Well, you
I
didn't.
was not closed off in negative energy at that point. It was well into my meditation and all of that kind of behavior, but there were still lessons.
You were just awakening.
Yeah,
You were new to it. You were just awakening, and there's many a dark night of the soul. And those dark nights of the soul, as you are fully aware, can last years or hours.
yeah. We don't get to choose.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't. And that goes back, to removing the demon.
Yeah,
Recognize the demon. We had the conversation about meditation. We had the conversation about never being able to shut down the mind.
right.
That's what our body does. But we need to recognize the difference between the soul and the body,
Right.
and recognize on a soulful level that we're a resident inside of this body, and this body does what it's going to do.
Yep.
And it just does it. So those negative thoughts, those demons, and the positive thoughts and the angels come to mind.
Yes.
And it's just my right ear's my open door, and my left ear's my exit door. I recognize you, your anger, so march your ass on out of here, and down the road you go.
Yep.
I recognize you, your love. Why don't you hang out for a bit? And let's just
Enjoy the time.
Bask in the glorious white energy of this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But it's allowing it. That's the flow.
Yeah. Let go and let flow.
Let go and let God.
Yep. So, yeah. Well, I hope that couple yesterday can just enjoy the time they have. The reality is, for him, his shell is going to die, and he's going to move on, and he's going to be happy. He's going to have no pain. He's going to be in a good place and start on his next journey, like we were talking about yesterday. She's going to be stuck here.
Yeah.
And when you're in that situation, like I said yesterday, the first almost year after he died, I was very much a recluse. I didn't come out of my room unless I absolutely had to. And it took that long for me to be able to take that first step forward and get back to living, which I think is a very difficult thing to do when someone you love dies,
Yeah.
but you have to do it. And so now I go through my day to day life, not most of the time, not stressing about the little things. Everything gets compared to that big thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I made it through that. So does this down here really matter? Is it worth a fight? Is it worth the imbalance?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, most of it isn't. And so I try and just, again, just let that go. And I think that's the challenge that we all face, regardless of our spiritual journey, whether we're at the beginning or way on.
Transitioned.
Yeah. And we use spirituality as this big all-encompassing thing that whether that's a formal religion or some guru,
I don't
you
want to
know,
call it a formal religion because religion is man-made.
it is.
And that's why I don't want to think that we're part of a cult or a sect or a religious thing or anything else, because my interpretation of my spirituality and what's going on for me is very similar to yours but different.
Sure, everybody's
and,
is different.
and we're all individual in this, and we keep going back, or I have to, let God, and I keep bringing God and Christ and everything back in it from my Christian background.
Yeah,
But that's not to say it can't be Allah
yeah,
or whatever.
right. Yeah, the name is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, the say no evil monkey. I mean,
Yep, exactly. And
in AA, when Bill Dabia sat down and wrote the big book, and they got on a 12-step program, they wanted to take God out of it. And they simply used the term your higher power.
Yep.
And I don't think there's a person on earth that does not have a belief in a higher power.
I would hope not.
So what does that say about an atheist?
Yeah.
I mean, if they have a belief in a higher power, guess what? I don't think they're an atheist.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Exactly.
it's not for me to say. And frankly, my concerns can be measured in micro give a shits.
Yeah.
I don't care. You do you.
Yep. I saw an interview. I can't remember who it was, but they were on one of the late shows. And this guy was an agnostic atheist. Yeah. And he's some big Hollywood guy. But so he said, so what does that mean?
What did
and
he say?
he said, okay, so there's something like 4,300 different formal religions throughout history.
Okay.
And so he says, so you believe in a single God, and that's it. So I believe in one less God than you. So they both, the other 4,299, they both discount that. There's only the one. And the atheist just doesn't believe in that one. And so it was kind of a cool thing to see. I'd never heard it put like that, but it's kind of a true thing. From a statistical standpoint, I guess. And we've talked many times. So
All I can think of, my brain's screaming.
Yep.
Okay, it's screaming at me right now. All I can think of is there is no atheists in any foxhole in war.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they're all praying to somebody.
They're all ready to kiss their ass goodbye, and they're
Yep.
all screaming to a higher power.
Yep.
Even if it's mom.
Yeah, exactly. It's something. Well, that's kind of like it was. I
This
think it was
dog
yeah.
absolutely loves me, and I know if I pick her up, she's going to pee on me.
Yep.
She will not leave me alone. She wants my attention, but every time I touch her, she pees on me.
But yeah, we've talked before about wherever I heard this, and everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die to get there. So, and I think that fits with what you said. Is these guys in the middle of war? They're praying to somebody. I'm sure there's the ones that aren't.
My dad was a atheist, self-proclaimed atheist.
So is my sister.
And I never understood his perspective. And I don't disrespect his perspective.
No.
I just never understood it because, I don't know what his vision of afterlife was outside of just black death.
Right.
I don't know if he had any vision of spirituality, meaning the soul transformation, or just I'm going to just be dead.
Right.